I was born into a wealthy and traditional family in the countryside of Ireland, in the small town of Tyrone. I was the youngest daughter of two sisters, and the age gap between us was large, 6 years. This meant that during childhood we rarely played together. When I was just 12, she got married and left. I clearly remember the wedding day. The house was full of people, music, laughter, and flowers. Everyone seemed happy, except for me. She was my sister, but also my best friend. She was always sweeter to me than our own parents. My mother was cold, my father distant. They wanted sons, and they didn't hide their disappointment. When my sister got into the carriage with her new husband, a stylish man named Mr. Carew, I felt as though a part of me was leaving too. She went to live in Dublin, and for a while, our lives went in very different directions. A year later, a letter arrived. It was from Carew. It said that my sister was very ill and wanted to return to Tyrone to be close to the family. I was devastated that she was sick, but excited about the idea of seeing her again. "They'll arrive on Tuesday night," my father said. That Tuesday, I waited the whole day. I couldn't focus on anything. Night fell. Hours passed. When it was almost 1 a.m., I heard a strange sound. I ran to the living room and shouted, "They've arrived." I heard something. My father followed me. We opened the front door and stood there, in the cold, waiting. We heard it again. Crying. A distant, muffled sound. But no one appeared. No carriage. No lights. No sign of them. Confused and frightened, we went back inside. The next day, the news came. A man arrived saying that my sister had died. She passed away that same night, around 1 a.m., the same time we heard the crying. That marked me deeply. For 2 years, I withdrew from the world. I didn't talk to anyone. I lived in my own silence. Mr. Carew remarried shortly after. That angered me. How could he move on so quickly? With my sister's death, I became the only heir of the family. And as always happens in these circles, suitors began to appear. Many men came to visit, all interested in marriage. I rejected them, one by one. At 16, my mother decided it was time to change the scenery. "We're going to Dublin," she said. "Richer, more interesting men. You'll find someone of value." Upon arriving in Dublin, I realized something in me began to wake up again. I made friends, went to balls, danced, laughed. I felt alive. For a while, I almost forgot the sadness. But my mother was restless. She wanted results, a husband, a ring, a fortune. One evening, she came into my room with a determined look. "Do you know Lord Glenn Fallon?" "I know him," I answered hesitantly. "He's the older man from Carilla?" "He's noble, powerful, and he's interested in marrying you." I was shocked. I didn't love him, but I didn't hate him either. He was a well-educated, kind man, spoke about interesting topics, more than anyone I had met. The next morning I gave my answer. Yes, we married in the spring. 2 days after the ceremony, we left Dublin for his estate in Carilla. The mansion was immense, surrounded by green gardens, tall trees, and a river that flowed quietly in the back. Birds were singing, the sky was blue, and for a moment, I felt at peace. "Come, my love," he said. "I want you to meet Martha. She takes care of everything here." Martha was a friendly lady with blue eyes and a wrinkled face. She welcomed me with a warm smile and made sure to show me the house. When we went upstairs, she stopped in front of a large, dark wood door. "This will be your room," she said, opening it. It was at that moment that I felt something strange. A sudden chill ran down my spine. In front of the bed, I saw a figure. Something tall, dark, like a black coat hanging. But it was floating, as if no one was wearing it. "Is everything all right, madame?" Martha asked. "I think so. It must have been the light." I tried to cover it up, but her face turned pale. "You saw the coat?" Yes. "Why?" "That's a bad omen. When someone sees the black coat in this house, something bad is about to happen. I saw it when I was a child. The next morning, the old Lord Glenn Fallon died. We had dinner that night in silence. I didn't tell my husband anything. I tried to forget. The next day, we went for a walk. The garden was vast, almost enchanted. I complimented the place, said I was happy. But he seemed distant. Suddenly, he stopped, grabbed me by the shoulders, and spoke seriously. "Fanny, never go into the rooms in the back of the house, and never go to the garden behind the iron door. Never. Do you understand me?" I nodded, not understanding. He seemed like a different person. In the following weeks, I began to notice that he became more and more silent. He didn't smile. He spent hours in front of the fireplace, lost in thought. It was on a sunny, late afternoon that everything changed. I went up to my room after lunch. When I opened the door, a woman was sitting in my armchair near the fire. She was about 40 years old, wearing a black coat, and her face was as pale as wax. But what paralyzed me were her eyes, completely white. She was blind. "This is my room," I said. "There must be some mistake." She slowly turned around. "Mistake? No, my dear. Where is Lord Glenn Fallon?" "Downstairs. But who are you?" "Tell him Lady Glenn Fallon wishes to see him." My blood ran cold. "I am Lady Glenn Fallon," I retorted. She stood up, approached, and slapped me. "You are nobody," she shouted. I screamed for help. My husband rushed in. He entered the room and closed the door with her inside. I stayed outside hearing muffled screams. I didn't understand everything, but I heard his name and the word lie. When he came out, I asked, "Who is she?" "Forget it. Don't listen to what she says." But I couldn't forget. The tension in the house increased every day. My husband avoided eye contact. He slept little. Until one morning he said, "We're leaving the country. France, Spain, anywhere." "Why?" I asked. "Why flee?" He didn't answer. He left the room like a shadow. That night, I tried to rest, but I woke up with a strange feeling. When I opened my eyes, I saw a light in the room, and behind the light, the blind woman. In her other hand, she held a knife. "If you want to stay alive, don't move," she whispered. I froze. "Did he tell you he married me?" she asked. "Before God? Before witnesses? I am the true Lady Glenn Fallon, not you." I swallowed hard. "You'll leave tomorrow. If you don't, I'll finish you." She disappeared into the darkness. The next morning, I told everything to my husband. He was in shock, but instead of comforting me, he asked, "Did you go to the rooms in the back?" "No." She came to me. He fell silent. Then he said, "She's dead. What you saw isn't a person. It's a ghost." I went to Martha. I needed to understand, and what she told me sent chills down my spine. The woman you saw was indeed Lady Glenn Fallon, his first wife. She died mysteriously. They say that night someone saw her bleeding, with her eyes gouged out. And Lord, he was holding a knife. They never proved anything. But after that, she started appearing, looking for her replacement. That same day, I packed my things and left. I returned to Tyrone. My parents, older and calmer, welcomed me better than before. I live here now, in peace. Sometimes I dream of my sister. She visits me, smiling, and warns me that the blind woman is still searching for me, but she'll never find me. Not here. She will wait for the next Lady Glenn Fallon.
If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to leave a like. It really helps the channel. And if you love mysterious tales like this one, make sure to subscribe and join our growing community. See you in the next story.